Have you ever wondered why that whirlwind romance feels so exhilarating, yet leaves you hollow once the storm passes? Why a love that burns with red-hot passion often fizzles into indifference. Now, you'll uncover the hidden trap of confusing intensity, the razzle-dazzle sparks, with intimacy, the quiet warmth that endures. By the end, you'll know how to tell the difference, and how to build the real thing. Today, we're exposing one of the most common misfires in modern romance, mistaking intensity for intimacy. In this episode, you'll learn the key differences between intensity and intimacy, why our brains are wired to chase sparks, and why that wiring backfires, how childhood and culture prime us for thrills over depth, the risks of confusing fireworks with foundation, 5 clear signs you're chasing intensity, not intimacy, practical steps to cultivate lasting connection, a real-life story of a couple who transformed their relationship, your action blueprint for deeper love. Stick around, because once you see how this mix-up happens, you'll never settle for mere fireworks again. Meet Nina. She's witty, adventurous, and wildly magnetic. Her friends joke she could spark chemistry with a lamppost. So when she met Ethan at a music festival, 2 souls colliding over thunderous bass, she was hooked in an instant. Their first date was electric, neon lights, late-night dancing, his fingertips grazing hers amid the crowd. She felt alive in a way she'd never known. Every glance from him sent sparks of euphoric energy through her veins. But after 3 weeks of adrenaline highs, cracks appeared. The text became less spontaneous. Weekend plans turned into vague promises. When Nina called, Ethan sounded tired, overwhelmed, even annoyed. She panicked. What happened to the fireworks? She thought. She chased him, texting at odd hours, replaying every moment in her head. When he finally showed up again, apologetic and intense, she felt that old rush. Yet, alone at night, she realized she barely knew Ethan beyond his thrill factor. She hadn't talked with him about his childhood, his fears, his quiet moments. There was excitement, but no depth. If Nina's story rings true for you, where the blaze fades and you're left cold, know this: it's not you. It's not love. It's the intensity trap. And today, we're going to map out how to escape it. Section 1. Defining intensity versus intimacy. First, let's clarify our terms. Intensity is the rush, the spark, the novelty. It's the quickening pulse, the butterflies, the feeling that you're living at 100 miles per hour. Intensity grabs your attention, floods your brain with dopamine and adrenaline, and convinces you it's love. Intimacy is the quiet warmth beneath the storm. It's knowing another person's fears and dreams. It's feeling safe enough to be vulnerable and valued enough to be honored. Intimacy grows slowly, like roots anchoring a tree, built through trust, empathy, and consistent presence. Think of intensity as a flash flood, powerful, unstoppable, but over in minutes. Intimacy is a river, steady, life-giving, and enduring. Intensity delivers a short-lived high. Intimacy underpins lifelong commitment. When we mistake intensity for intimacy, we chase fireworks, and that chase eventually burns us out. Understanding this difference is the key to deeper, more satisfying relationships. Section 2: Why we chase sparks. Why does our brain crave intensity? There are 3 main reasons. 1. Neurochemical hijack. Dopamine, released during novelty and excitement, makes us crave more. Adrenaline, from thrill and suspense, keeps our heart racing and senses heightened. Our brains are wired to seek rewards, like sugar or social media likes, and new relationships tap into that reward circuitry. The problem: we can get addicted to the rush without forming the deeper bonds that create lasting satisfaction. 2. Childhood conditioning. If you grew up craving drama, whether parents fought and made up in epic gestures or affection was sporadic, you learned to equate volatility with care. Intense emotional swings felt like proof of love. Stability felt like boring or indifferent. This early pattern teaches, if it's not intense, it's not love. 3. Cultural scripts and media. Movies glorify whirlwind romances, instant chemistry, grand gestures, dramatic obstacles. Reality TV and social media amplify sensational relationships, jealousy, fights, breakups, then makeups. We internalize these stories, believing that real love must be dramatic. We hunger for our own cinematic romance, so we mistake intensity for authenticity. Behind every failed whirlwind romance is a brain, and a history, wired to chase thrills over depth. Section 3: The risks of confusing them. Chasing intensity while ignoring intimacy has 3 major pitfalls. A. Emotional burnout. Running on adrenaline and dopamine eventually exhausts your nervous system. You cycle through obsession, disappointment, recovery. Then obsession again. B. Superficial bonds. You may rack up exciting anecdotes but lack real knowledge of each other's core selves. Without vulnerability and trust, you never truly feel known or seen. C. Repeated disillusionment. Every new spark seems like the one, until it fades, and you wonder why love always lets you down. You may blame yourself, thinking I must be unlovable, when the root cause is chasing the wrong thing. Real intimacy requires emotional safety, transparency, and consistent mutual care. Without those, only intensity, relationships become cycles of hope and heartbreak. Section 4: 5 signs you're chasing intensity, not intimacy. If you're not sure whether you're caught in the intensity trap, watch for these red flags. You feel alive around them, but empty alone. The high of being with them is powerful, but once you're apart, you crash into loneliness, craving the next hit. You focus on chemistry, not conversation. You remember the sparks but forget what you talked about, or never had deep talks at all. You avoid difficult topics. Any sign of vulnerability or conflict feels like a threat to the magic, so you gloss over it to preserve the glow. You rush milestones. You want to move in, meet the family, say I love you before you know their day-to-day hopes and fears. You're addicted to drama. Arguments and reconciliation feel passionate, sometimes more passionate than effortless affection. Acknowledging these signs won't be easy. You may love the thrill more than the idea of slow burn connection. But awareness is the first step toward change. Section 5: Transforming intensity into intimacy. Building true intimacy doesn't require extinguishing passion, just channeling that energy into deeper knowing. Here are 5 research-backed practices. 1. Slow burn rituals. Daily check-ins. Share one high and one low from your day. Weekly heart dates. Unplug together for 30 minutes. No phones, no distractions. These rituals create predictable emotional safety and reinforce reliability. 2. Vulnerability exercises. Open-ended questions. What scares you most right now? What's a dream you've never shared? Mutual disclosure. Each partner shares something new about themselves for 5 minutes, without interruption. Vulnerability builds trust and intimacy by letting you see each other's inner worlds. 3. Emotional mirror technique. When one partner shares a feeling, the other reflects it back. It sounds like you felt anxious when I canceled. No judgments, just validation. By mirroring, you show you hear and understand each other, which deepens connection beyond surface thrills. 4. Mindful presence practices. Touch without agenda. Hold hands for 2 minutes, simply noticing sensations. Eye gazing. Sit quietly and look into each other's eyes for 1 minute. Focus on connection, not performance. Mindful presence rewires the brain to associate closeness with calm, not chaos. 5. Shared growth projects. Choose a skill or goal, learning a language, starting a garden, volunteering, and pursue it together. Overcoming challenges side by side forges teamwork and a sense of shared purpose. True intimacy thrives when you grow together, not just when you fly high together. Section 6: A couple's transformation. Let's revisit Nina and Ethan. After the initial thrill and the inevitable cool-down, they realized they barely knew each other. They set slow burn rituals, a nightly 2-sentence recap of their days. They did vulnerability exercises, each asked the other a daily "What do you fear most?" question. At first, it felt awkward. Nina missed the spontaneous texts, Ethan bristled at opening up. But week by week, their check-ins became a safe space. Nina's heart slowed, Ethan's walls softened. They added an emotional mirror rule. Whenever one felt upset, the other would pause activities and repeat back the feeling, without offering solutions. Over time, Ethan learned that holding space felt rewarding, not draining. Nina learned that he heard her, even when he didn't speak. 6 months later, their dynamic had shifted. Their relationship was no longer defined by roller coaster dates, but by steady, meaningful presence, and yes, with chemistry that felt deeper because it was woven into belonging, not just fireworks. Section 7: Your Action Blueprint. Now it's your turn. Here's a 7-step blueprint to transform your relationships. Recognize the trap. Acknowledge if you chase sparks over substance. Name the difference. Journal the feelings of intensity versus intimacy. When do you feel alive? When do you feel seen? Implement slow burn rituals. Choose one small daily or weekly habit to deepen connection. Practice vulnerability. Start with a 5-minute sharing exercise, no judgments, only curiosity. Mirror emotions. When your partner speaks, reflect back their feeling before responding with your own. Cultivate mindful presence. Dedicate 2 minutes of touch or eye gazing, just to be together. Grow together. Pick a shared project or role that fosters teamwork and joint achievement. As you practice these steps, your brain will rewire, learning that true love glows steadily, not in bursts. If this episode opened your eyes, do 3 things. Like this video, let YouTube know this message matters. Comment intimacy if you're ready to trade sparks for substance. Share with someone who needs to see that magic isn't enough without meaning. Hit subscribe and tap the bell. Next time, we'll explore the psychology of self-worth, why you settle for less in love, and how to insist on the respect you deserve. Remember, the brightest fireworks burn fast, but a steady flame can light your life forever. This is the psychology of love, what they never taught you. Let's keep building real connection together.